What's up, YouTube? I'm the Calcar 131. In this gel test, I'm going to be trying out the 45 Super 230 grain jacketed hollow point. 45 Super, some of you might have heard of it. I'm betting a lot of you won't really know what it is though. So I'm not like an expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. But the way I understand it, 45 Super really is nothing more than 45 ACP plus P plus. Dimensionally, it is exactly the same as 45 ACP. It is, I believe, its own SAMI recognized caliber, so it is different than 45. But if you look at the actual, like, sort of specs on it, let's just stick with Underwood here and check out 3 different versions of a 230 grain jacketed hollow point they offer. The standard pressure 45 ACP jacketed hollow point, 230 grain, I believe 920 feet per second. Not bad, considering it's a full size 45 ACP. 45 ACP plus P, 230 grain JHP, 1,000, I believe. I don't have them in front of me, so I'm just going off memory, but I believe 1,000. Now, 45 Super, 230 grain jacketed hollow point. They claim on the box. I'll test it here in a second. But 1,100 feet per second. That's a pretty decent upgrade over the standard pressure 45 of only 920. Almost a solid 200 feet per second bonus. That's substantial, relatively, considering it only started with 920. So, a quick disclaimer here. Quick disclaimer. I'm going to be shooting this test with the Springfield XDM 45. Here's the disclaimer. Do not shoot 45 Super out of a gun chambered in 45 ACP, which is what I'm going to do. I've done a little bit of research and I am accepting the risk onto myself. If you do this, if you shoot a caliber out of a gun it's not rated for, it's on you. Don't come crying to me when you blow it up and you blow your hand off or you Kentucky ballistics yourself. You take all the risk upon yourself. I have done a little bit of research. I've actually shot 1 or 2 rounds of this already out of the XDM 45, and I've read that it can handle occasional 45 Super. Again, if you choose to do this, this is 100% on you. Do as I say, not as I do. I'm going to be shooting this out of the Springfield XDM 45, 4.5-inch barrel. I'm going to be 5 yards away, shooting into some clear ballistics, 10% gel. Underwood, 230 grain, 45 Super. Jacketed hollow point. $10.53 for velocity. Pretty close to what they claim of 1,100. Alrighty. Double check that's unloaded and we're all set. Oh, wrong part off. Alright. So there is another wound track on here, but I can still see the 45 Super. Overall penetration, 11 3/4 inches. Neck being the distance before the bullet starts to cause tissue damage or it expands or anything like that. Very short neck. Almost non-existent, but I'd say about an inch roughly before it starts to really open up. Temporary cavity. Disclaimer on the temporary cavity. This is the temporary cavity as it's portrayed in clear ballistics gel, which is going to be different from organic gel, which in and of itself is going to be different than human tissue. Most human tissues are more elastic than ballistics gel. So what you see in clear ballistics or organic gel is not going to compare to what it does in human tissue. But you can compare temporary cavities between different bullets directly because they're done in the same medium. Okay, so temporary cavity on the 45 Super, 1 inch roughly to, it's like 6.5 inches. So about a little over half of the bullet path had a temporary cavity or tissue damage, which again, handguns don't have enough velocity to really overcome that elasticity of human tissue. Read the FBI paper, Handgun Wounding Factors and Effectiveness. That'll talk about it. It'll also talk about why immediately I have an issue with this, being it doesn't have enough penetration. The number I go for is 12 to 18 inches of penetration in ballistics gel. Now, this just straight up doesn't have enough. Just under, it's just under, granted, just barely under the minimum, but it's not quite there. What that means is, depending on if you have to take a bad shot like through the side, or it has to travel up his arm, or just any kind of anything other than a perfectly ideal frontal shot, you might not have enough penetration to hit vital organs. And the fact of the matter is, handgun bullets, the majority of them, don't have enough velocity to cause temporary damage, temporary stretch or temporary cavitation. And depending on the threat you're facing, they may very well be on some kind of drug, or even just have a high pain threshold on adrenaline, whatever. It's been shown pretty well in police body cam videos. Some people just do not feel getting shot at all. It's just a fact. So the fact that this does not have enough penetration, kind of worrying. Here's the bullet. I just pulled it out. Very nice expansion. It doesn't, I'm not positive. I don't think this looks like a bonded jacket, because it looks like that jacket definitely flaked off a bit, but it stayed on there. Very nice expansion. I measured it roughly at the widest point, about 75.75. So it'll expand to a pretty darn nice size. So some final thoughts on the Underwood 230 grain 45 Super before it starts raining, because we got some severe weather that's supposed to be hitting pretty soon. Hopefully I'm done before then, probably not. But my shit's all blown away now. Okay, I gotta wrap this up quick. So as I already said, it did not have enough penetration. Big issue right there, just immediately. Especially for handgun rounds. For rifle rounds, they typically have enough velocity to cause temporary damage, so they can get away with a little more not quite having enough penetration. But when it comes to handgun rounds, penetration is the #1 wounding factor. In most situations, would this be enough? Maybe, probably. But if you look at the worst possible scenario of a guy's high on PCP and he's not going to feel anything, you have to shoot him from the side, it probably won't have enough penetration to hit vital organs. That's just one scenario. But the point is, when it comes to handgun rounds, handgun rounds, they need penetration. That's all there is to it. This one does not have enough. Is it going to put a real wallop on them? Absolutely. And will that energy dump, or that the pain they feel, different people feel different levels of pain from the research I've done. But regardless, will it probably be good enough? Sure. Am I still going to give it a pass? No. The very simple fact of the matter is, handgun rounds, handgun calibers, by far and away, do not have enough velocity to cause temporary damage, and it didn't get enough penetration. So the Underwood 45 Super 230 grain jacketed hollow point, I got to give a thumbs down. If you disagree, please tell me in the comments below. I'd love to have a civilized debate about it. If you're butthurt and you want to bitch about it, tell me in the comments below, because that still helps my interactions. If you enjoyed the video, tell me in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Subscribe if you want to see more gel tests in the future. I'm the Calcar 131, signing off.